Welcome to another episode of the Mostly Mike Show. Today is going to be epic. A month or so ago, I was given a couple old snowmobile skis for an experiment I had been wanting to try on Trail Force One, which in case you haven't been formally introduced, Trail Force One is my Coleman CT200U EX. Be sure to check out my other Trail Force One videos, which I'll be including a growing binge-worthy list above and in the description below. I'm pretty sure that you all know where this is going when I say experiment. The goal is to mount the ski to the front of Trail Force One so it is functional and hopefully to do so in a non-destructive manner to Trail Force One or myself. If you try any of this at home, please be careful. The Mostly Mike Show is not responsible for any injuries or collateral loss experienced while assimilating the actions seen in these videos. This is not so much a tutorial as much as sharing a beautiful experience between a man and his mini bike. Alright, let's get to work. Before attempting to mount the ski, I need to make a new Skag for the underneath. What's a Skag, you ask? Seriously, it's not what you think. This is a consumable metal wear bar that all snowmobile skis have mounted to the bottom that takes up all the abuse from the rough surfaces to protect the ski itself. Well, this one was wore off completely, so I'm going to tack it to the old studs, also not what you think, to get the proper angle, and then remove it to weld it properly in a vise, then reinstall. Not the prettiest, but it'll hold. A lot of rust in there. I had many ideas for mounting the ski, most of which involved removing the front wheel and then making an elaborate system of spacers and whatnots. Oh no. Too freaking complicated. We have like 2 days of snow left and this has to be done and tested before the snow melts. Otherwise, we wait till next winter. Screw that. So here's the deal. I'm going to mount the ski directly to the front wheel and tire with some chain that I had laying around the garage. And I bought a few packs of chain connectors, got a couple long-ass bolts, some nuts, and washers, and that's pretty much it. The original mounting clevis looks like it'll work for one of the bolts to go through to secure the chain, but I made a spacer so it wouldn't crush when I tightened it down. This was just some leftover hardware I had hoarded from projects gone by. Anything metal that's hollow should work. I drilled out the rivet that holds the ski tip handle to accept another long bolt as another attaching point. And just knock it out with a punch. I cut a few pieces of chain long enough to go over the crest of the tire for cross members, taking into consideration that the connectors will add to this length. I said member. I estimated that the approximate length of the two side chains, cut them, being a little generous so I wouldn't need to stretch them, and then laid them out on the bench. Some assembly required. I sandwiched the chain between some flat washers on both sides and then attached it through the hole where the rivets once lived, securing it with a nylon lock nut. At some point, I realized that I had too many cross pieces, which were then easily removed. Alright, this isn't going to be needed. Chains are pulling straight down, which is never going to tension against the tire. I won't have to worry about running out of them. These extra pieces will actually come in handy, which I'll show you where in a minute. Here's where it gets exciting. Hold on to your chair. I then just draped a chain over the tire and figured a length that was just short of reaching the back bolt. And here's why. I'm going to let some air out of the tire until the chains just reach the bolt. Ooh, almost. A little more. Oh, so close. A little more. Okay, it looks like we're gonna get on now. So, flat washer. Tight chain. Flat washer. Locking nut. To tighten these chains up, I'll simply just add air to the tire. You can hear all kinds of creaking going on, but I think we got it. And the ski is now securely attached. Pretty snazzy, eh? Oh, with the ski mounted, I'm going to temporarily change Trail Force One's name to something with a slightly Polish twist. Meet Trail Force Oneski. Sit on it and see what it looks like from here. See, it allows a little bit of pivoting. Hope it ain't too much pivoting though. Actually, I think it is too much pivoting. But I think I already have a way to fix that. Okay, so the problem is... My spider senses told me that I need to keep this contraption from turning. At least some. So this is where the two extra pieces of chain and chain connectors come in handy. I'm going to just guess where to lock it around the fork initially and then adjust it if necessary. Yeah, I got that to go through. Yeah. So you can see what's going on. Okay, I'm going to just take the gamble, get my bolt cutters, and whack that. There we go. This pretty much concludes the installation, so let's take a moment to gawk at it. Although it was close to midnight, I couldn't stand the anticipation anymore, so I took it for a couple laps around the yard. I would have never gotten any sleep if I hadn't at least tried it out. This thing really had me stoked. Sorry, neighbors. It ran amazingly on a snow-covered lawn and handled turns much better than expected. So the plan is to get this thing out on the trails for some better test footage when I get home from work tomorrow, if the snow isn't all melted by then. This may be the last snow until late fall, so this is my only chance with no room for error. Unless there is error, in which case we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Lesson learned. Skags will mark the concrete and brick, maybe permanently, so be sure to place the ski on a dolly when transporting to avoid this. So here we are at the trails, and I only have 1 hour to get some decent test footage. Hopefully. The lighting is less than ideal, and I had some carburetor issues with Trail Force Oneski, which I hope now are resolved. The snow is melting fast, and it's a race against time, but here goes nothing. Trail Force Oneski actually ran pretty good on the trails, except that the thawed ground beneath the snow created some drag on the ski. This test footage could have been better, but I was in a hurry and had 2 SD card failures with the GoPros. Like a lot of things, I waited until last minute, but such is life. All in all, I will call it a success. I hit a patch of nearly solid ice on a turn, which got my attention as Force Oneski slid right out from underneath me. But I was able to get up almost unscathed, aside from my pride, as I looked around to see if anyone saw me. As far as changes needed, it actually performed as good as I would want, except for the Skag. It kept hooking on roots and sticks, making it bend away from the ski, causing it to act like a plow, therefore creating drag. I'll be shortening the Skag back to where the front stud goes through and then taper it with a grinder to make it more streamlined for the next try. This may not have even been an issue if the snow is a little deeper. We'll have to wait until next winter to experiment with Force Oneski a little more, perhaps even adding rear tire chains and possibly studs. Subscribe to stay in the loop and check out my other videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.